Hi guys, Pierce here, back with another review. Here I have the 2019 Brickmania M1A2 Abrams. This set has around 879 pieces and it was designed by Cell. Right here I have the digital instructions version of this set with some minor modifications. We'll be focusing on this version. I know there's a box version of this set, but I'll cover a little bit of information about that a bit later. So yeah, let's get into it. The story of the Abrams main battle tank first began when the U.S. Army was looking for a replacement for its M48 and M60 Patton series of tanks. Now, this led to the cooperation and development of the MBT-70 between Germany and the U.S. However, differences in design philosophy and different priorities caused the two partners to split off, with Germany later creating the Leopard 2 main battle tank. Development of this tank first began in 1988, a competition held between Chrysler and General Motors, which Chrysler later won. Production was first approved in 1990, and the tank officially entered service in 1992. The U.S. Army and Marine Corps would soon adopt the Abrams, where it would see service during the Persian Gulf War, the Iraq War, and service in Afghanistan. Other countries would soon import this tank, including Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Taiwan. Now, currently, the M1 and the M1A1 and the M1A2 are currently still in service with many countries across the globe. Regarding Ukraine, the M1A2 was originally planned to be sent to Ukraine, but the M1A1 was sent instead due to it being available a lot sooner. This tank has some really nice features, starting off with the target and acquisition system. So the commander and the gunner have their own independent sights. So the commander can lay the gunner onto a target, and the commander can then view the target with his own sight and engage it. While he's doing that, the commander can search for new targets and then assign those targets to the gunner. This allows the gunner to quickly change from targets real fast, allows the tank to engage multiple targets quickly and efficiently, making this a lot more deadlier. You also have really effective armor, basically chop-on armor, composite ceramic armor, really effective against kinetic rounds. You can put in explosive reactive armor, really good against shaped charges, fire from RPGs. You also have depleted uranium spall liner, really good against high explosive squash head. So if a shell comes in, creates a giant shockwave, metal splinters created by that shockwave inside the inside layer of the tank's armor wouldn't be sent all over the tank and hurt the crew. That spall liner would prevent that from happening. Now talking about the M1 to M1A1 variants, differentiating the variants, the M1A1 basically changed the 105mm gun to a 120mm gun. It also introduced a third generation heavy armor package and new fire control system. The M1A2, this variant, features a lot of upgrades, including to the commander's weapon station, in addition to the commander's independent thermal viewer, and in addition to the inter-vehicle information system. Allows communication of info between vehicles, which is a nice little upgrade to this tank. So that's a quick rundown of the M1 Abrams history, and yeah. Starting off with a turret, you have your full 360-degree capability. As you turn your gun towards the back, there is some resistance, which can be annoying. You have good elevation and depression. So good elevation coupled with this tank's good fire control system means that you can engage and destroy enemy helicopters. Good amount of depression means that you can do a hold down position. Basically, you can go up a hill, lower your gun so much that you can engage enemy tanks, but when they engage you, you have such a low profile and you're such a small target that it's hard to hit you. And even if they hit you, they'll hit the thickest part of your armor, most likely, and you'll basically survive while you're basically tearing them apart. Here on the side of the turret, you have two smoke projectors, fire off a few smoke grenades with these and make a smoke screen to hide from the enemy and relocate to a better position. You have 2 periscopes here. This one's on the loader side, full 360 degrees. Really nice. One for the loader, more limited turning radius, but some turn is better than no turn. You got the commander's cupola with 50 cal Medusa, some elevation, some depression, good turn. The instructions also specify building this gun shield with a light machine gun. Once put inside here, not a lot of movement, but it's always nice to have the extra firepower, and it looks aesthetically pleasing. It's not too bad. You got your hatch for the commander and loader. Let's put them in. Loader, commander, fit nice and snug. Some extra bar armor, so protection on the turret for against RPGs. More storage here at the back. You got your blow up panels and a nice tiles here. Blow up panels basically work to help store ammunition while preventing catastrophic explosions in the event of the magazine, in case of the magazine getting penetrated and ignited. So so here's the magazine. Say if a shell comes in and hits this side of the turret and manages to penetrate and ignite the ammunition, the blow-up panel is basically meant to send the explosive force of ignited ammunition outwards instead of into the tank and into the way of the crew. So yes, you'll probably be out of ammunition, but everyone inside the tank will be fine, and they'll be able to drive away and fight another day. Got a coaxial machine gun with your massive, big, fat 120mm gun. You got your bore evacuator here. A bore evacuator is basically meant to spew out some poisonous the gases after the gun has fired, so probably propellant gases. This makes sure that these noxious propellant gases are out of the tank and not spewed back into the tank, which could be potentially harmful against the crew. One small thing about this design, which I'm not too fond of, is this driver's hatch here and the placement of the turret. Maybe a bit of a nitpick and a little bit high expectation, but in the real life Abrams, yes, the driver's hatch is pretty buried deep underneath the turret, but in certain positions, like on the side of the turret like this, if the turret's turned like this, or okay, maybe there is some room available for the hatch to open and the driver to get out in this position. This hatch in those two positions is likely to be more exposed and allow the driver to get out in case of an emergency. So if this tank is taken out, yeah, the driver is gonna have a hard day, really not a good day. But I wouldn't say that's too bad. Well, maybe the driver has something else to say. You got your front lights here, nice design, really nice side skirts. Moving on to the engine deck, you got your vents, more tiles. You can't access the engine, just one solid block. So, but less functionality means more space to put in bricks. So that increases the tank's durability, like the design's durability. So like if you drop it, less things are gonna break. Suspension can be annoying, but it works. Say if I lift up the tank and I just put it down like this, the tank, it might do a tippy toe, which is annoying, but simply just ride your finger underneath here and you'll get the suspension back in track. It's also really effective once it's in use, so you can just see how seamlessly the suspension reacts up an obstacle and back down an obstacle. So that's really effective. Again, you might get this tippy toe again, but it's not too much of an issue. The suspension is really durable. So compared to the last tank I reviewed, the Sherman Firefly, this front wheel always had the tendency of coming off. This one here, this won't come off. It's gonna stay here. So that's really nice if you're taking pictures outside, because you won't accidentally have this front wheel come off and you'll basically like lose a valuable piece out in the wilderness. So this thing has durability. Overall, I believe this Abrams is a very solid design. I'll be now evaluating this tank on accuracy, cost, playability, and potential. So in terms of accuracy, I believe the designers have really captured the complex angles and shapes of this tank. There are only two factors which kind of limit this rating. First is the driver's hatch. It's buried too deep within the turret. This is a major hazard for the driver, and there is a lot more access to the driver's hatch in the real version of this design. In terms of also the front plate, this front plate is actually a single piece. There's just one angle. There's actually a break in the angle in this design, which is not accurate, but I believe it's okay. So I'm gonna rate this part, the accuracy, 8 out of 10. In terms of cost, it is kind of a hard pill to swallow if you really want a good deal, but you do feel the weight and size of this tank. In terms of the price, this thing really feels like huge and like it's really heavy. So well, it feels heavy in your hand, so you can feel the weight of what you're getting. Official Lego prices are actually starting to like get a lot more expensive. So in terms of like comparing sets, the price and the amount of effort put into this design, like your Brickmania support, and I guess like there's their videos explaining everything, and the quality of the instructions. I think if you were to get it without any sale, I think the price is justified. It's starting to approach a little bit on the overpriced side. It's understandable, but I would really recommend getting this thing on sale. You'll really feel you're getting a good deal. You can do stuff like you can take off the machine, like you can replace these Brickmania machine guns with your own custom built machine guns, or take off the stickers. You can start to feel a little bit more bang for buck. In terms of playability, this thing is the strongest part of the tank. The mechanics are really reliable. Okay, maybe this thing kind of jams a little bit, but it's not really an issue. Great elevation, depression. Things are harder to break in this tank. There's maybe not as much features with the lack of an engine compartment, but the suspension, stuff won't fall off. So there's less of a chance that you'll start missing pieces. So that is a really strong part of this tank. So I'm gonna have to rate this 9 out of 10. This is a tank that you can really play with. In terms of potential, because this tank is so durable, you can actually feel like you can go outside and film it in nature. You won't have a case where like you go outside, you play with it, your front sprocket comes off and goes missing. That won't happen. So like you can actually take photos in nature, or you can film this thing outside. And even if you do lose pieces, you can replace them a lot easier because these parts aren't like super rare parts. So this tank is actually a lot more repairable. And of course, it's probably harder to get like this kind of barrel in tan, but you can source the parts in different colors relatively easily. So if you want to actually like get multiple of these, it's a lot more achievable than something like the Firefly, because I'm finding that front sprocket to be very, very hard to source. So yeah, you want to make an army of these tanks, you really can. This hull has space for improvements. You can really turn this thing into a recovery vehicle, a mine clearing vehicle. There is space for modification if you're willing to problem solve. You can do it with any other design with enough engineering problem solving, but this is a lot easier to do on this design. In terms of comparing this to other Brickmania designs, this is the poster child. This design does have the reputation and pure capability of the Abrams. It is like generic tank, one of the most generic tank designs. Like in terms of like when someone says tank, this is one of the first designs to come to mind. It is a bit more simplistic in terms of character and like angles and stuff compared to other designs. You might get a little bit more character in something like a Leclerc, but in terms of just raw capability, yeah, I don't think you can beat this tank. And that's really good. So tallying up for potential, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. Final score is basically like a 79%, a B plus. I'm gonna give this tank a B plus. If you want a modern era Lego tank with a good balance of reputation, performance, being a model and a toy, this is a very solid design. Maybe if you want something more of a model and more detail, like really put into it, maybe a World War II design might be a bit better, but this is a really good design. So yeah, this is my final evaluation of this set. Special thanks to Jeffrey, who really helped me write the script for this video, and like always, catch you later.